Hello Neighbor is not a good game. Its mechanics are frustrating, its physics are broken, and its narrative is incoherent. Yet, despite all this, I find myself continually drawn back to it. This isn't a case of so bad it's good. It's something stranger, something deeper. I don't enjoy the moment to moment gameplay, and I often find myself annoyed by how it feels to play, but I love exploring its world. I love solving its puzzles, and I love trying to make sense of the surreal, almost dreamlike story it tries and frankly fails to tell. With this video, I want to explore the contradiction at the heart of Hello Neighbor. How a game so poorly executed can still feel fascinating, immersive, and emotionally resonant. It is, in many ways, a broken game, but it's also one brimming with ideas. Ideas that, had they been given more time, polish, and care, could have turned Hello Neighbor into a great game. There's a sense of mystery and metaphor lurking beneath its cartoonish surface, a symbolic thread that hints at childhood trauma, repressed memory, and fear. And in those glimpses, even through the jank and the clutter, there's something compelling. Hello Neighbor feels like a prototype of a masterpiece, a vision half realized and abandoned. But that vision, I think, has merit, and that's what makes it worth talking about. To play Hello Neighbor is to wrestle with dissonance. It's a game that constantly fights itself. The core loop of sneaking into your neighbor's house and uncovering his secrets sounds thrilling in theory. In practice, it's an awkward, janky mess. Controls are floaty, object interactions are wildly inconsistent, and the neighbor's AI is a chaotic gamble between omniscient and straight up non existent. Sometimes he spots you from across the street, other times you're hiding in plain sight and he just wanders by. That inconsistency really does break immersion, yet somehow it doesn't always break the tension. There's a strange magic in that tension, not despite the jank, but oddly sometimes because of it. When something does go right, when you solve a puzzle and slip by unseen, there's a rush that's hard to replicate. It's less like completing a well oiled stealth sequence, and more like improvising your way through a dream where the rules keep shifting. It feels wrong, but in a way that's strangely appropriate. The game's world is a part of that feeling. The aesthetic is vibrant but uncanny. There's something off about the colors, the proportions, the plastic cartoon vibe that makes you feel like you're in a memory of a neighborhood rather than in a real one. It's bright and playful, yet deeply uncomfortable, like something meant for children that's been warped by time and fear. That tonal contrast works in a way the gameplay often doesn't. More importantly, Hello Neighbor taps into a unique emotional place. There's a very specific kind of anxiety at play. It's the fear of being watched, of being somewhere you shouldn't be, and of trying to understand a world where the logic is just a little off. It's a game that, intentionally or not, captures the emotional chaos of childhood. You don't fully understand the rules, but you know you've broken one. You don't know what the punishment will be, but you know it's coming. That emotional layer is what keeps the game alive in my mind. It's not fun in a traditional sense, it's not polished or fair, but it captures a feeling, an unsettling, unresolved feeling that most games don't even attempt to touch. At its core, Hello Neighbor presents a concept with tremendous potential. The idea of a stealth based game that unfolds within a suburban home is refreshingly intimate. The stakes are personal, not apocalyptic. You're not saving the world, you're breaking into a stranger's house to uncover something you were never meant to see. It's voyeuristic, transgressive, and deeply suspenseful, and that makes it emotionally rich ground for a horror experience. What makes the concept so uniquely strong is its alignment of mechanics and narrative. The idea of sneaking into a neighbor's house taps into a very real, very human anxiety, the fear of being caught doing something you're not supposed to do. It's a playground version of horror, not unlike the childhood dares to peek into the creepy house down the block. But in Hello Neighbor, that dare spirals into a psychological labyrinth where rules break down and spaces twist around you. Each act in the game deepens this metaphor. The house grows larger, more illogical, like the dream version of a real place. Rooms loop into themselves, doors lead to nowhere. This surreal expansion reflects not just mystery, but emotional distortion. The narrative structure loosely follows the experience of revisiting trauma, the initial enticing event, the descent into memory, the attempt to rationalize or escape. The more you explore, the less it makes sense, and that mirrors how the mind tries and fails to compartmentalize unresolved pain. What's compelling is how much of this is visual and environmental rather than text driven. The game resists overt explanation. It doesn't tell you what's happening, it shows you through its architecture, through its lighting, and through its scale. And in doing so, it creates a world where interpretation becomes part of the gameplay experience. It's not just about finding the solution to a puzzle, it's about asking what this puzzle might mean. The AI system, too, is conceptually bold. The idea that the neighbor learns from your actions, laying traps, blocking off routes you've used before, introduces a reactive, evolving layer to the stealth. In theory, this could lead to an incredibly dynamic and replayable game, where each run feels slightly different depending on how you've played it. In practice, it's inconsistent, but as an idea, it's still worth celebrating. Hello Neighbor isn't conceptually ambitious in a vague or generic way. It's ambitious in a very specific way. It aims to capture a particular emotional experience through design. Even though the execution falters, that aim is rare. The foundation here isn't just strong, it's rare, and that rarity makes the failure sting all the more. What makes Hello Neighbor so frustrating is how clearly we can see the great game buried inside of it. This isn't just a matter of bugs or bad controls, it's about ambition that never finds traction. Every idea the game introduces, from reactive AI to metaphorical architecture, feels like the beginning of something that could be incredible, but none of them are taken far enough. Systems clash, mechanics unravel, storytelling becomes more confusing than evocative. The AI, for instance, is supposed to be adaptive, but really it's just erratic. Sometimes the neighbor predicts your every move, other times he forgets you exist. Rather than creating tension, the inconsistency undermines it. The house itself, which should be the ultimate puzzle box, instead becomes a cluttered mess of trial and error. The player is punished for thinking logically because the game's internal logic is broken or absent altogether. Even the story, which hints at themes of trauma and repression, refuses to commit. The acts escalate in surrealism without clarity or rhythm. It's not ambiguity that fails here, it's structure. The symbols are there, the emotions are there, but the narrative doesn't trust itself enough to land them. Instead of mystery, we get confusion, and instead of metaphor, we just get noise. The result is a game that constantly shows you what could have been. It taunts you with brilliance. You can feel the masterpiece beneath your feet, but the ground keeps crumbling every time you try to stand on it. There's something uniquely disheartening about playing a game that almost works. Because you're not just reacting to flaws, you're grieving the potential. Tiny Build and Dynamic Pixels clearly had vision. Somewhere along the way, vision got replaced with feature creep, rush deadlines, and marketing over substance. What was once a tight, eerie sandbox thriller became bloated and incoherent. It wasn't just unfinished, it was abandoned mid-sentence for a couple bucks. That's why Hello Neighbor isn't just a bad game, it was a missed opportunity. A collection of powerful ideas that were never allowed to grow. And it's that unrealized promise that lingers far longer than any glitch or bad mechanic. Hello Neighbor ultimately is a rare kind of failure. It's not a bland or forgettable game, it's a game that reaches for something meaningful and falls short in nearly every technical regard. Yet I find value in that failure. I don't return to Hello Neighbor because it's fun to play, I return because I'm haunted by what it tried to be. It's a game about curiosity, about the forbidden, about the blurry line between memory and fear. With more polish, it could have been a great game. As it stands, it's just broken. A blueprint for something that never got the time or care it deserved. Maybe that's why it lingers in my mind. Not because it's great, but because it almost was. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. That'd be awesome. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about Hello Neighbor. Or if there's any other game or media you'd like to see me cover next, I'd love to do it. Just let me know in the comments. You want to see more of my videos? Hit subscribe. It's great too, right? And see you in the next one. Bye.